is about to break over Brisbane and the city is stirring to a chilly winter morning. But in the very heart of the CBD, a team of urban commandos is about to strike.
Today's operation is kind of interesting because it's a lovely old heritage building in the CBD, not too many of them left. The council looks after the building very well but really doesn't even think about the garden. There's a scrubby old palm and a couple of scrubby old trees at the front and nothing else.
Before the target is hit, the heavy ammunition is unloaded. There are date palms, aloe vera, lavender, macadamia and lemon trees. In all, 50 plants ready to spruce up this plain bark garden. These men are guerrilla gardeners, and in the dim light of dawn they're launching a raid on enemy territory. So, technically what you're doing here, is it illegal?
I suppose we're digging a hole in council property without their permission, but I don't know about illegal.
It's a bit of a challenge though, isn't it, to council if you're here on their property?
Yeah, well, that is true, but then again, they've had, I don't know, they've had a few decades to make the place look good and put a decent garden in. They haven't bothered, so we thought we'd do it off with our own money.
The success of these guerrilla gardeners is based on secrecy, so they don't want their cover blown.
In Brisbane City Council, if you put so much as a trowel into a nature strip or a park, you're breaking the Natural Assets Act, so you have to be careful about it.
Meet Guerilla 2821, the unofficial leader of the movement's Brisbane cell.
You go out, you find sites like road verges or parks or roundabouts, and where there's inadequate cover or trees or food plants, you size it up as to what you could plant, and you grow the plants, you borrow seed and you network with other people and you put the right plants in the right place.
I'm not surprised at all that Australians are into guerrilla gardening. They don't mind getting their hands dirty and getting out there growing things. Yeah, that's the Australian spirit, isn't it?
Richard Reynolds is the spiritual leader of the world's guerrilla gardeners. He's marshalled hundreds of guerrillas throughout London and illicitly built 28 gardens around the city.
Here we are in Lambeth, in central London, minutes from the Houses of Parliament. And this is a huge traffic island that was weeds and litter and bare earth 3 years ago. The police, what? Oh my God, oh yes.
But as this video shot by Richard Reynolds' group demonstrates, the long arm of the law can interrupt a guerrilla operation at any moment.
When you commit an offence is what you're doing now. It's not your property, so you're liable to arrest.
Yeah, OK. We'll pack this up and go home.
That's the boy. Oh, you're going to be a good gardener when you get big.
Elizabeth Mayhead doesn't fit the profile of your average guerrilla gardener, but the Brisbane grandmother has form. She was hit with a $300 fine by council for planting this garden next to the footpath outside her home.
Well, I came home one day and there was a lady inspecting and taking photos, and then she handed me a paper to say you've got to take it all out within 14 days or else there would be a big fine. So I was devastated.
I think there are always compromises on positions to be taken. It wasn't easy because your heart says, look, they've spent 7 years doing this, but we'd had complaints.
So in the Mayhead case, there was a compromise reached, wasn't there?
Oh, absolutely. And I think that it was a sensible compromise. They're very happy and I'm pleased with the outcome.
The council dropped the fine in exchange for Mrs Mayhead removing some of the larger plants which were obscuring the vision of motorists turning around her corner block.
You really like that big one, don't you, eh?
Despite the prickly encounter with the council, the keen gardener says it's been a valuable social experiment for her whole street.
Socially, we've got to know all the neighbours through it. We've joined groups, we've learned to play the ukulele, we've had some fun.
Authorities can see that we're providing a service to the community. We're not charging for it. I just don't want to have that face-to-face confrontation. We're guerrillas, but we're peaceful in our methods.
But councils like the one in Brisbane argue that services such as bin collection can be impeded by footpath gardens, and also that they have a duty of care to residents.
There is still that local law that says footpaths must be there for pedestrians, and it's our duty to actually make sure that they're safe. If they fall into a garden and damage themselves and they choose to sue, the person they sue is the council.
Back in Brisbane CBD, the Guerilla gardeners are finishing their raid on this council-owned plot. It's taken them just 40 minutes to get their 50 plants in the ground. Over the coming weeks, they'll be back to water and care for the new garden.
It's about making the place you live better. It's about community, because when you're out there doing a dig, very often people will come up and say, what's going on? You tell them, and people get interested, and people take it away and think, actually, yeah, I can do something for myself. I can make a difference. I think that's great.